Morning breaks over Pine Valley, Montana. September 18th, 1998. The kind of autumn day that makes you believe nothing bad could ever happen. Sunlight spills across the mountains, painting their peaks gold against a cloudless sky. The river flows gentle and clear through the heart of town, its surface smooth as glass. Sarah Mitchell stands at her bedroom window, 15 years old, dark hair caught in morning light. She touches the rocks lined up on her windowsill, collected from countless days by the river. Each one holds a memory. Each one tells a story. Behind her, a telescope points toward stars now faded in daylight, a birthday gift from her father. Downstairs, the kitchen fills with ordinary sounds. Coffee brewing. Toast popping up. Her sister Emily pushes scrambled eggs around her plate, still half asleep. Their mother moves between counter and table, getting ready for her shift at the local diner. Sarah comes down wearing their mother's blue cardigan. Emily looks up, manages a sleepy smile. Mom's going to flip when she sees you wearing her sweater again. She won't even notice, Sarah says, grabbing a piece of toast. Simple words. An ordinary moment. One that Emily will replay in her mind for 26 years, wishing she could change what comes next. The argument starts over nothing. A borrowed hairbrush, sharp words exchanged, the kind of fight siblings have every day. But today is different. Today, Sarah grabs her truck keys, lets the screen door slam behind her. "I'm going to the river," she announces. The sound echoes through the kitchen like a warning shot. Their mother doesn't look up from her coffee. "Let her cool off. You know how she gets." Sarah's red pickup kicks up dust along Valley Road. Through the open window, Savage Garden plays on the radio. She sings along, dark hair dancing in the wind. Her destination is River Bend Access, a quiet spot where locals fish and think and find peace in the sound of moving water. But she's not the only one heading there this morning. James Anderson, a respected wildlife expert with the State Wildlife Department, tells his wife he's checking fish populations. His truck carries his gear, his official badge gleams on his belt, and inside him lurks a secret darker than the deepest parts of the river. The morning unfolds peaceful and bright. Birds call from pine trees. The air carries that special fall scent, dying leaves and wood smoke, and the promise of winter. Sarah parks her truck, grabs her journal, walks to her favorite spot by the water. She doesn't know she's being watched. Miles away, Emily sits in history class, their argument already fading from her mind. Their mother serves coffee to the breakfast crowd at the diner. Life in Pine Valley moves at its usual slow pace. No one feels the change coming. No one notices how the birds have gone quiet, how the shadows seem longer than usual, how the river runs slower, as if trying to hold on to its secrets just a little longer. The afternoon sun hangs high over Pine Valley. Sarah's empty seat at the dinner table is the first sign something's wrong. Emily watches the clock. 6 hours since the argument. No sign of her sister. Their mother makes the first call, then another. Soon, phones ring across town. "Have you seen Sarah?" The question spreads from house to house. No one has an answer. Officer Michael Reynolds gets the call at sunset. A missing teenager. A red pickup truck at Riverbend Access. Something doesn't feel right. In small towns like Pine Valley, teenagers don't just disappear. Word travels fast. Neighbors grab flashlights. Hunters bring their dogs. The search party grows as darkness falls. Pickup trucks line the dirt road to the river, headlights cutting through the gathering dark. The night turns cold. Fog rolls in from the river. Flashlight beams dance through the trees like fireflies. Voices call Sarah's name. The sound echoes off the mountains, unanswered. Emily stands by her mother's car, watching. She hugs her sister's blue sweater, the one from their argument that morning. She'll be cold, she tells anyone who'll listen. She needs this. Two local brothers refuse to stop searching when others turn back. They know these woods, know every bend in the river. Their flashlights sweep the muddy banks, again and again. The older brother sees it first. Something by the water's edge. Something that shouldn't be there. His shout cuts through the night air like a knife. Officer Reynolds reaches them first. His flashlight beam finds what they've all been dreading. Sarah Mitchell lies face down in the mud. The river flows past, undisturbed, as if nothing has changed. The mountains keep their silence. The same stars Sarah loved now watch over her final resting place. And in that moment, Pine Valley changes forever. Word spreads faster than the morning fog. Lights click on in every house. Phones ring in the dark. Parents hold their children closer. Because now they know something evil has come to their valley. Officer Reynolds stands guard over the scene. He notices things. Small details that don't add up. The position of her body. Marks in the mud. Signs of a struggle no one wants to see. The night grows colder. More police arrive. Their red and blue lights paint the trees in twisted colors. Emily watches from behind the police tape, still clutching her sister's sweater. In her mind, their morning argument plays again and again. The screen door slamming. The dust from Sarah's truck. The last time she saw her sister alive. And in his bed across town, James Anderson stares at his ceiling, listening to sirens. Thinking about the girl who loved the river, who collected rocks and studied stars, who trusted a man in uniform, who didn't know that some monsters wear badges. The mountains watch over Pine Valley as night deepens. They've seen how quickly happiness can turn to horror, how ordinary days can become lifelong nightmares, how some secrets poison everything they touch. But they've also seen how truth finds its way to light, how love can drive someone to search for 26 years, how a sister's determination can crack open the hardest lies, how justice moves slow as glaciers, but sure as gravity. Morning will come again to Pine Valley. The sun will rise. The river will flow. Life will go on. But nothing will ever be the same. Because now they know, evil can hide behind trusted faces. Secrets can live in plain sight. And sometimes the darkest mysteries take decades to solve. Sarah's telescope stands silent in her room, still pointing at stars she'll never see again. Her river rocks wait on the windowsill, each one holding memories of better days. And somewhere in Pine Valley, a killer starts building his cover story. 26 years of lies begin with this night. The mountains hold these truths like shadows in their valleys. Wait for the day when all will come to light. When a sister's love proves stronger than a killer's lies. When Pine Valley learns its hardest lesson. That some secrets refuse to stay buried, no matter how deep you try to hide them. Pine Valley wakes to frost on the ground. Yellow police tape flutters in the morning breeze. Same tape that kept Emily from running to her sister last night. Now it marks where childhood ended for the Mitchell family. Officer Reynolds walks the scene as sunrise paints the mountains pink. Everything looks different in daylight. Clearer. Harder to deny. His notebook fills with details others miss. Strange marks on the riverbank. Mud disturbed in unnatural patterns. Signs that tell a story nobody wants to read. Sheriff Robert Kane arrives in his polished truck, steps out like he owns the morning. Tragic accident, he announces to the gathering crowd. Young girl, slippery bank, these things happen. But Reynolds sees how the sheriff's eyes skip over certain details, how his conclusions come too quick, too neat. The Mitchells' kitchen table becomes command central for the family's grief. Coffee grows cold in untouched cups. Casseroles arrive hourly, filling their fridge with food no one can eat. Emily sits at the window, watching more police cars arrive. She remembers her sister's laugh, the way she sang off-key to car radio songs, the sound of her boots on the stairs. Your sister had an accident, they tell her, slipped into the river. The words feel wrong in Emily's mouth when she repeats them to friends who call. Like stones too smooth to be real. The coroner works quick. Too quick, Reynolds thinks. Body released for burial before all tests come back. Cause of death, drowning. Manner of death, undetermined. Simple words hiding complicated truths. James Anderson shows up at the station to give his statement. Just routine, they tell him. Everyone who works near the river needs to talk. He describes checking fish populations that morning. Voice steady, hands calm. Perfect story with perfect details. Rachel Thompson, Sarah's friend since grade school, reads the newspaper report twice. Local teen's river death ruled accidental. Below the headline, Sarah's school photo smiles at readers. Rachel knows something's wrong. Sarah grew up by that river, knew every rock, every current. People who grow up by rivers don't just slip in. The high school holds a memorial. Students wear blue ribbons, Sarah's favorite color. Teachers share memories of her science projects, her dreams of studying astronomy. No one mentions the whispers in hallways, the questions that don't get asked. Reynolds keeps digging, quiet, careful. His separate notebook fills with things the official report leaves out. The bruises they didn't photograph, the evidence they didn't collect, the witnesses they didn't interview. Sheriff Kane calls him in one morning. "Let it go," he says. Gives him a long look across the desk. Families accepted it was an accident. Town needs to heal. Reynolds notices things in the sheriff's office he never saw before. Photos of hunting trips with Anderson. Awards from the state wildlife department. Signs of connections that run deep as river currents. The Mitchell family plans a funeral. Choose a blue dress Sarah loved. Emily helps pick photos for the memorial board. Sarah, age 5, holding her first fish. Sarah at 12, peering through her new telescope. Sarah last summer, laughing by the river. Each image a knife in Emily's heart. Anderson attends the service, signs the guest book, offers proper condolences, goes home to his wife and dinner and normal life, hangs a new fish on his trophy wall, sleeps sound while the Mitchells lay awake. Pine Valley settles into an uneasy quiet. Mothers keep their children closer. Fathers check locks twice at night. No one goes to Riverbend Access alone anymore. Fear seeps into the town like river water into soil. Emily starts having dreams. Sarah tries to tell her something important, but the river's too loud, the current too strong. She wakes reaching for words that slip away like water through her fingers. Reynolds gets reassigned to traffic duty, a warning, though no one says it straight. His cold case notes go home with him each night, lock safe in his garage, wait for someone brave enough to read them. The state wildlife department promotes Anderson. His picture appears in local papers. Local expert leads conservation effort. He builds a life on hidden foundations, speaks at schools about river safety, teaches kids to fish, becomes someone no one would suspect. Fall turns to winter. Snow covers the ground where Sarah lay. Nature tries to erase what happened. But Emily can't forget. She watches Anderson at town meetings, notes how his hands shake when Sarah's name comes up, how he avoids their family in the grocery store. Reynolds quits the force that winter, can't stomach the lies anymore, opens a bait shop on the edge of town, keeps his notes locked in a fireproof safe, knows someday someone will ask the right questions. Sarah's room stays untouched. Telescope still points at stars she'll never see. River rocks gather dust on the windowsill. Journal hidden under loose floorboards waits to tell its secrets. The mountains watch it all. See how lies take root like weeds. How silence grows thick as ice on the river. How truth gets buried under layers of power and protection. But they know what Reynolds knows. That some secrets are too big to stay hidden. That time and love and sister's determination can wear down any wall. Spring comes again to Pine Valley. Ice breaks up on the river. Snow melts off mountain peaks. Life tries to return to normal. But normal died with Sarah that fall day. Now the town holds its breath. Waits for truth to surface, like a body that refuses to stay sunk. Emily graduates high school that June. Empty chair beside her where Sarah should be. She wears her sister's blue cardigan under her gown. Starts planning for college, for a future that might help her find answers. Anderson builds his reputation, adds to his trophy room, lives his careful life. But sometimes, late at night, he walks to his window, looks toward the mountains, listens to the river in the distance, wonders if today will be the day someone connects the dots. Reynolds keeps his shop open, sells bait and tackle and fishing licenses, watches Anderson's star rise in the community, waits for the day when truth breaks free like spring floodwaters, knows that day will come, has to come, because some secrets are too heavy to carry forever. The river flows on, carries its memories, holds its secrets. But rivers can't keep everything hidden. Eventually, truth finds its way to light, like water wearing down stone, like love lasting longer than lies, like a sister's promise to never stop searching. And the mountains stand guard, silent witnesses to how power protects its own, how small towns bury their darkest truths, how justice sometimes takes the longest path to find its way home. They wait with Emily, with Reynolds, with everyone who knows this story isn't finished. Because in Pine Valley, some secrets refuse to stay buried. Some truths demand to be told, and sometimes it takes 26 years for justice to find its way home. Time moves on in Pine Valley. Days turn to weeks, weeks to months, months to years. Emily goes to college, but her mind stays fixed on her sister's case. Mike Reynolds, now running his bait shop, keeps watching. Every time James Anderson comes in for fishing gear, Reynolds notices things. The way Anderson checks who else is in the shop. How he never quite meets anyone's eye. Small things that add up. Emily comes home each summer, sits by the river where they found Sarah, brings fresh flowers, talks to her sister about college, about life, about her promise to find the truth. The river keeps flowing, but it doesn't wash away her questions. Anderson's life gets better each year. His job at the wildlife department makes him important. People respect him, trust him, ask him to teach their kids about fishing and river safety. No one sees how his hands shake when he drives past Riverbend Access. Rachel Thompson stays in Pine Valley too, opens a guide service for hunters and fishers. She remembers Sarah every time she takes people out on the river, keeps an eye on Anderson when their paths cross. Something about him still feels wrong to her. 10 years pass. Emily finishes college, studies criminal justice, learns about DNA, about evidence, about how water affects crime scenes. She brings this knowledge home, starts looking at her sister's case with new eyes. The Mitchell house feels empty now. Their mom moved to Arizona, couldn't stand the memories anymore. Emily keeps Sarah's room exactly as it was, dusts the telescope every week, waters the plants on the windowsill, keeps her sister's space alive. Pine Valley grows, new houses go up, new stores open, new people move in who never knew Sarah, never heard her laugh, never saw her smile. But the old-timers remember. Keep their kids away from Riverbend Access. Tell them to be careful who they trust. Anderson builds a big house on the edge of town, fills one room with his fishing trophies. Each mounted fish marks another year of freedom, another year of his lie holding strong. But he checks the locks twice each night, jumps at unexpected sounds. 15 years after Sarah died, Emily finds something, an old button in the mud by the river, the kind the wildlife department used on their uniforms back then. She takes it to Reynolds at his shop. They start pulling at this new thread. Reynolds keeps his notes safe, adds to them when he can, watches Anderson's success grow, sees how the sheriff protects him, how power takes care of its own in small towns. But Reynolds knows time can crack any story. Truth just needs patience. 20 years pass. Emily gets married. Her husband understands about the files in their home office, about the late-night research, about the need to know why her sister died. He helps her look for answers. Anderson's son grows up looking just like him, wants to work for the wildlife department too. The local paper writes a story about it. Emily clips the article, adds it to her growing pile of evidence, watches this family built on secrets. 25 years now. The old sheriff retires. The new one doesn't owe Anderson anything, doesn't share hunting trips with him, doesn't look the other way. Change comes slow to Pine Valley, but it comes. New tools arrive at the state crime lab. Machines that can find DNA in the smallest traces. That can read stories and evidence everyone thought was useless. Emily files another request to test the evidence from Sarah's case. Her 20th try in 10 years. Then Detective Thomas Brooks moves to town, burned out from big city crime, looking for quiet cases. Instead, he finds Emily, finds her wall of evidence, finds a case he can't walk away from. The river keeps flowing. The mountains keep watching. They've seen how time changes things, how truth finds its way out, how a sister's love can last longer than any lie. Anderson still lives his careful life, still teaches fishing classes, still hangs new trophies on his wall. But now he checks the news more often, reads about cold cases solved by new DNA tests, by old evidence finding new voices. 26 years after Sarah died, science catches up to secrets. The crime lab has new tricks, can read stories in the smallest bits of evidence, can hear truth in traces time tried to erase. Emily never stopped looking, never stopped asking questions, never broke her promise to her sister. Some people called her obsessed, said she should move on, let the past stay buried. But Emily knew better, knew that truth doesn't die, just waits for its time to rise. The mountains stand guard over Pine Valley. They've watched this story from the start, seen how lies spread like weeds, how truth hides like spring under winter snow. They know what comes next, know that no secret stays buried forever, know that justice moves slow but sure as the changing seasons. Detective Brooks sits at his desk, looking at old photos from Sarah's case. Most people would see nothing new, but Brooks sees things others missed. Mud patterns that tell a different story, signs of a fight no one wrote down. He calls Emily on a Tuesday morning. "Bring me everything you have." She comes with boxes full of newspaper clippings, weather reports, and that button she found by the river. 26 years of collecting pieces of the puzzle. The state crime lab has new machines now. They can find DNA in the smallest traces. The lab tech warns them not to get their hopes up. "These samples are old," she says. "Water damaged, but we'll try." They find 4 hairs on Sarah's old clothes. No roots attached, just the hair shafts. For years, labs said these were useless. But science gets better, keeps finding new ways to read old stories. 3 hairs tell them nothing. The 4th tells them everything. Emily's phone rings at midnight. Detective Brooks can barely speak. "We got him," he says. Just 3 words, but they change everything. 26 years of questions find their first real answer. James Anderson doesn't know yet. He's planning a fishing trip to Alaska, posting about salmon runs online, living his normal life. The truth sneaks up on him like a storm on a clear day. Brooks and his partner talk to Anderson at his office. Keep things casual. Ask about old fish counts, about river conditions back in '98, about the day Sarah died. Anderson's answers come too fast, too smooth, like lines from a play he's been practicing for years. "We have DNA," Brooks says quietly. Watches Anderson's face change, sees his careful life crack open. But Anderson doesn't say much, just asks for a lawyer. Walks to his truck looking calm. The next morning, they find his truck at his hunting cabin. Engine cold, door open. Inside, he left a note. His last try to control the story. His last lie. News hits Pine Valley like a flood. TV trucks fill Main Street. Reporters ask how a trusted wildlife expert fooled everyone so long, how a small town kept his secret, how a sister never stopped looking for truth. Rachel Thompson gets calls from old friends. "Not Paul," they say, "not the man who taught our kids to fish." She thinks about all the times she was alone with him on riverbanks, all the times her gut told her something wasn't right. Mike Reynolds watches it all from his bait shop, feels 26 years of weight lift from his shoulders, opens his safe, gives Brooks his notes, shows how deep the cover-up went, how many people chose to look away. Emily reads Anderson's confession, 3 pages in neat handwriting, no spelling mistakes. He writes about that September morning, how he saw Sarah by the river, how he used his uniform to get close, how he chose her because she was alone. The wildlife department starts looking deeper, checking old patrol logs, looking for more victims, more families who need answers. They find patterns, dates that match missing person reports, questions that need asking. Brooks brings in state police to help. They go through Anderson's trophy room. Each mounted fish marks a year of freedom. They check dates, places, look for connections to other crimes. The case grows bigger than Pine Valley. Emily stands in Anderson's trophy room, sees how he lived with his secret, how he built a life on lies, how he hid behind respect and power while her sister lay silent. Each fish on the wall marks a year she spent searching. Each trophy shows how long truth took to find its way out. The old sheriff faces questions too, about evidence that went missing, reports that got changed, a cover-up that lasted years. He has no good answers, just excuses about small-town politics, about protecting reputations, about choices that seemed right at the time. Sarah's case changes how police work, shows them that no evidence is too small, no case too old, no truth too deeply buried. Other departments start looking at their cold cases different, start trusting families who won't stop asking questions. The river keeps flowing past Riverbend access. People still fish there, still walk their dogs, still live their lives. But now they know the truth about what happened there, know how darkness can hide behind trusted faces, how evil can wear a uniform and a friendly smile. Emily visits Sarah's spot one last time, brings flowers, talks to her sister about truth finally coming out, about justice taking its time but finding its way, about love lasting longer than lies. The mountains watch over Pine Valley. They've seen how secrets rise like cream in coffee, how truth finds its way to light like water wearing down stone. They know this story isn't over yet, know that more truth waits to be found. More families need answers. More justice needs time to grow. But for now, they watch Emily walk away from the river. Watch her carry her sister's truth home at last. Watch Pine Valley learn its hardest lesson, that no secret stays buried forever. That love and time and sister's determination can break open any lie. Pine Valley changes after the truth comes out. People look at each other different now. Trust comes harder. Questions come easier. Everyone wonders what other secrets hide behind friendly smiles. Emily speaks at a town meeting, tells them how the system failed her sister, how people in power chose silence over truth, how a whole town looked away because the truth felt too hard to face. Anderson's wife puts their house up for sale. Can't live with the whispers, the stares, the weight of knowing she slept beside a killer for 26 years. Their son changes his last name, moves to Oregon, tries to outrun a shadow he never knew he lived under. The wildlife department cleans house, checks old cases, changes how they hire people, how they watch their officers. They don't want another Anderson using their badge to hide evil. Rachel Thompson starts teaching safety classes. Not just about rivers and wildlife, about trusting your gut, about speaking up when something feels wrong, about how dangers don't always look dangerous. Mike Reynolds finally sells his bait shop, feels at peace for the first time in years, knows he did right by Sarah in the end, kept his notes safe until the right time came, until someone was ready to listen. The high school puts Sarah's photo in the main hall. Next to it, they hang her telescope. Under it, words about asking questions, about seeking truth, about how science can light up dark places. Students stop there between classes, leave notes, fresh flowers, small stones from the river. Emily turns her search for truth into something bigger, starts helping other families with cold cases, shows them how to keep looking, how to keep asking questions, how to make people listen. Her phone rings every day with calls from people who need hope. Detective Brooks writes a book about the case, not about the crime, about how truth hides in small details, how family members solve more cases than anyone else. How love makes better detectives than badges. The state passes new laws about evidence, about how long it must be kept, how it should be stored. They call it Sarah's Law. Make sure no other family has to wait 26 years for answers. Other police departments send people to learn from Pine Valley. Learn how to look deeper at old cases, how to listen to families who won't stop searching, how to see past easy answers to hard truths. The river flows different now. Not really. The water's the same. But people see it new. See how it kept Sarah's secret all those years. How it finally helped tell her truth. They teach their kids to love the river, but never trust it completely. Sarah's old room becomes a kind of museum. Emily keeps it open for police training. Shows them the normal things. The telescope, the river rocks, the science books. Shows how evil can steal such simple dreams. How truth can hide behind ordinary days. Anderson's trophy room gets torn down. They plant a garden instead. Flowers bloom where lies once hung on walls. Life grows where death once hid. The town finds peace in small changes like this. Young cops come to Pine Valley now. Study how the case broke open. Learn that no case is too old. No truth too deeply buried. No love too patient. They leave changed. Look at their own cases different. The mountains watch Pine Valley heal. Watch trust grow back slow like spring grass. Watch truth plant new roots in old soil. They see how the town carries Sarah's story now, not as a secret, as a lesson. Emily keeps Sarah's blue sweater in her closet, takes it out sometimes, remembers their last morning together. But the pain feels different now, clean, like a broken bone that finally healed straight. The river wears new stones smooth, carries new stories, flows past river bend access where people still fish, still walk, still live. But now they know. Know to watch closer, listen better, speak up sooner. Schools teach Sarah's story in criminal justice classes. Not the dark parts, the parts about never giving up, about how science gets better, how truth finds its way out, how love lasts longer than lies. Pine Valley learns to carry its hard truth, learns that facing darkness makes light brighter, that telling hard stories makes future stories easier to tell, that healing starts with speaking truth out loud. The mountains stand guard over it all, over Sarah's memory, over Emily's victory, over a town learning to trust again. They know more truth waits to be found. More stories need telling. More healing needs time to grow. But for now, they watch Pine Valley write its new story, about how a sister's love broke open a killer's lies, how a town faced its darkest truth and found light, how justice moves slow as mountains growing, but sure as rivers running to sea. A year after Sarah's case breaks open, a young detective in Oregon picks up a cold case. A girl went missing near a river in 1992. A trusted man gave the last statement. Sounds familiar. Feels familiar. She calls Emily for help. They talk for hours. Emily shares what she learned in her long search. Check old patrol logs. Question official stories. Trust families who say something feels wrong. 2 months later, that Oregon case breaks open. Another trusted man. Another hidden truth. Another family finds peace. Police training changes. They teach Sarah's case now. Show new cops how to spot cover-ups, how to resist pressure to close cases quick, how to listen when families say the official story doesn't fit. Emily speaks at these classes, brings Sarah's photo, makes her more than just a case study, shows how real people hide behind cold case numbers, how every unsolved crime leaves a family waiting for truth. Crime labs work different now. Keep trying when first tests fail. Remember those 4 hairs from Sarah's case, how 3 gave no answers but the 4th cracked everything open. They learn patience, learn that time can help truth grow. Rachel's safety program spread across the country. She teaches people to trust their gut feelings, to watch for warning signs, to know that danger sometimes wears a badge and a friendly smile. Her students learn from Pine Valley's hard lesson. The Mitchell house becomes a place police visit, not for crimes, for training. Emily shows them Sarah's room, shows how ordinary things, a hairbrush, a journal, a telescope, can hide keys to solving crimes. Detective Brooks trains new investigators before he retires, shows them how to look past easy answers, trust unlikely clues, listen to families who won't stop asking questions. His lessons spread like ripples in still water. Universities start cold case programs, name scholarships after Sarah, train new investigators to look deeper, think longer, try harder. Emily helps design their courses, shows them how a sister's love can crack cases when official methods fail. Wildlife departments across the country change their rules. No more working alone. No more unquestioned power. They learn from Anderson's betrayal, build walls against darkness hiding behind badges. Other small towns send people to learn from Pine Valley, how to face ugly truths, how to rebuild trust, how to make sure power never again protects evil. The valley's pain becomes other towns' protection. Young girls visit Sarah's telescope at the high school, learn about stars, about science, about asking questions and seeking truth. They find strength in her story, carry her light forward. Emily's daughter becomes a detective, not because anyone pushed her, because she grew up watching her mother turn grief into purpose, pain into progress. She works cold cases in Seattle now, keeps her aunt's photo on her desk. Sarah's law keeps spreading. More states pass it, add to it, make it stronger. Evidence rooms across the country hold on to truth better now. Give old cases new chances, help other families find answers sooner. The Mitchell house gets marked as a historic place, not for its age, for what happened inside its walls, how a sister's love turned into a movement, changed how police work cold cases, how towns handle hard truths. Pine Valley hosts a meeting every year now, called Truth Finds Light. People come from everywhere, share stories, learn methods, find hope in how one small town turned pain into change, made loss into legacy. Emily's book gets updated. New chapters about cases Sarah's story helped solve, lives her death helped save, how truth finds its way to light, like water wearing down stone, like stars burning through darkness, like love lasting longer than lies. The mountains still watch over Pine Valley. See how Sarah's truth keeps spreading, changing lives, solving cases, healing hearts. They've watched this town learn, grow, change, become more than just a place where something bad happened. Time flows like the river, always moving, always changing. But some things stay. Sarah's spirit in the valley, her story in its people, her truth in the changes she sparked. The stars still shine over Pine Valley, same stars Sarah loved. Now they watch over a different town, a stronger town, one that learned its hardest lesson, that truth always rises, that love never stops searching, that justice finds its way home.